order. All right, I would like to welcome everyone to the January 14th regular school committee meeting. I call the meeting to order at 6 o'clock, and we will stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. The flag is over Principal McKinnon's shoulder. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all. Could just bow our heads for a brief moment of reflection before we begin tonight's meeting. Thank you. All right, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda items 2.1 through 2.5? Do I have a second? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Is there any public input tonight? See some faces in the crowd? No. Tell us something. Give us a story or something.
It's cold outside.
Will be. So we gotta get there. All right, moving right along then. Item 4.1, report on winter activities at Wilbur McMahon School. Principal McKinnon, over to you.
Thank you, Chairperson Audi, members of the committee. Tom, if you could fire that up. I think the first picture you're going to see up here will be pictures of our third and fourth grade doing some science activities. Our first picture on the left-hand side, as you'll see, is our third grade taking rudimentary materials out of their classroom, minus the tires and the axles, and making, similar to soapbox derby, using cars to basically roll down the ramp. And students measured it by how accurate they were with going straight, so they had to work on balancing and what have you. The second picture on our right-hand side is some of our fourth grade students who are dissecting owl dung to see what owls eat as part of their science project with FOSS. Next slide, Tom.
That's a mature fourth grade, let me tell you.
I want to thank Karen Corrigan, who's our library media aid person. She runs every year a giving tree, and we take donations from throughout the community, particularly parents, students who bring things in. We donate them to a house in Middletown. And Karen does this every year. So thank you to Karen and all the people who participated, families and students in our building. Next slide. A little video here. We have a video from our holiday concert. Tom, if you could hit that. Not sure if we'll hear the music. That's okay. We can't. But a picture from our holiday concert from our grades 4 through 8, band and chorus, that took place on March 18th with our students. Wonderful night for our students. And also, I want to shout out our band director, Noah Russo, and our choral director, Miss Nicole Oriel, for that. The other picture that we have on there as well is Christmas caroling. I don't know if you can pull that up, Tom. Students went to a folks' home in Tiverton. Of course, it escapes me right now, the name of it. But they also came back and went around to some of the classrooms, particularly at the younger level, and sang some Christmas and holiday songs for our students. Next slide. Basketball is, as you know, is at full swing right now. We had just an A game that finished up, both boys and girls today. The highlight of the basketball will be the trip to Block Island, which is next Friday, barring any kind of stormy weather and large rollers out in the water. But the plan is to go out there next Friday. It is a long day for our students. They leave here at 10 for a noontime ferry out to Block Island. They literally step off the boat and into the gym, and they're playing probably within 15 minutes. And I believe they should be returning sometime around 6:30 that night, on one of the later ferry rides back. Our coaches of the two teams, Mr. Gordon Duquesnoy, coaches our boys team. And Miss Erin Bowley is the coach of the girls squad. They've been doing pretty well. I think their current record right now is 3-1, maybe 3-2, but they're doing very well considering that they're both. Although the boys team is a little bit older, they're very new to it, but they're doing a fantastic job with that. And the girls are just very young, and they will be. In the future, they'll be a very, very strong group. Next slide. As you all know, Rhode Island Department of Education awarded Wilbur McMahon School with the Green Ribbon Award. We are one of 7 schools in the state with that recognition. I think we're one of only 23 schools that have been recognized since it started in 2014. The Green Ribbon basically recognized pre-K through 12 schools for reducing environmental impact, improving health and wellness, and providing sustainability education. Rhode Island has continued with this Green Ribbon School, even though the program was cut at the national level. But I think it's a tribute to a lot of people in this building. Certainly Dr. Mitchell, but also our members of our green team, led by Amy McLean, Jess Higgins, our students, as you know, downstairs in our cafeteria. We're doing a great job with the food recycling paper, get the foam out. All those things kind of led into this, including our solar panels that are on the roof. So this is a great recognition for our school, the Green Ribbon Award. Next slide, Tom. Students of the month of December was communication. That was the theme. And these are our students in grades kindergarten through grade 8, who were recognized by their teachers as being a great communicator. And part of that, being a great communicator, is also being a great listener. Next slide. Mary Ann Vareka, our veteran kindergarten teacher. She's also had other positions in the school, but she is being recognized by the Tiverton Little Compton Lions Club Teacher of the Year. That is on March 14th. I believe it is at White's of Westport. Mary Ann is, as you know, a kindergarten teacher, so she has the patience of a saint. That goes hand in hand with being a kindergarten teacher, but she's also just a tremendous person, a great role model for our students. The students love her, energetic, compassionate, empathetic, all those things that you would expect your kindergarten teacher. So congratulations to Mary Ann. Next slide. This Saturday, 3 days from now, our First Tech team is hosting one of the qualifiers for the state of Rhode Island. We're going to have 19 schools here, and many of these schools are not middle school. They're probably, I would say, 70% high schools who are going to be in this building. And they are going to be competing with First Tech Robotics. The theme, as you can see with that wiffle ball that's in the right in the middle of the robot, the wiffle ball has to be put into a box. I think our robot, as you can see right there, actually throws it up and in. There are others that actually drop it in. But that will be taking place on Saturday. It is an all-day event. I think it's open to the public, I believe, at 9 o'clock in the morning. Some of the robot athletes will be here beginning at around 7:30. I think our staff, Josh Gay and Marissa Brazil will probably be here at 6:30 in the morning. And they're probably going to run to they'll be running till about 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, but they'll probably be here till around 6 o'clock at night. So that's a long day. I know our kids are excited. I know Marissa and Josh are extremely excited. And I think it'll be a great opportunity if people are looking for something to do, over the weekend, to be able to come out and see the robots in action. It's a real neat event. Next slide. just a couple of upcoming things. The First Tech Challenge, as we mentioned, Saturday. Yale Youth Diplomacy. We have 5 girls who have been selected to attend this youth diplomacy program at Yale University. That's in May. NAEP is the National Assessment of Educational Progress. That's going to be taking place here, March 16th for our grade 8 students. We're gonna kind of push that a little bit. The test itself only takes an hour. Our Commissioner of Education would really like us to not us, but the entire state to step it up with that. Survey works will be going out to families, parents, caretakers. At the end of the month, Ms. Cara DiGiulio and myself will be the coordinators for that. The survey works is a survey that gives us an impression of how students, teachers, parents, caretakers feel about their experience here at Wilbur McMahon School. We're going to throw some incentives for our families to participate in this. We should have somewhere about 75 total families. We'd like to get as close to 75 as we could. To get as many 75 surveys. I think last year we were around 42 surveys. I'd like to see if we could bump that up again. And next basketball games take place next week. Boys A team is away at Friends and the girls are home to Friends. And that's next, I believe it's Tuesday or Wednesday. And that is everything that's going on in the building.
So much going on.
There's a lot.
It might be winter outside, but we are cooking in here.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Mike, please.
The green ribbon status, how long is that good for? Or do you know?
That's a great question, Mike. I think it's basically once you get it, it's a status that you have. I don't know if yearly you have to do that or not because I think each of those schools there will have it for a time period. I really don't know that much about that part. That's a great question, though.
Thank you, Principal McKinnon.
No problem.
Carolyn, is there a superintendent report tonight or are we?
John McNamee
Oh,
information.
McNamee,
Like to that.
batting 3 and 4 tonight in your lineup. Mr. John McNamee.
Yes, I've been designated to talk about the PFAS grant update.
Yes.
So we've been working on the PFAS grant with the water supply, and we have an engineering firm that's put together is designing that system for us. And one of the things that came up during the design, which they worked on, which has caused some delays, but would be adding a water softener to the system, which would help in terms of any damage to the pipes that we have at the school. So they've gone through 3 or 4 different alternatives to add that. And each one of those alternatives have some issues with it because it's going to be discharging additional concentrations of, let's say, magnesium and calcium salt. There's also additional permitting that's being required if you put the softener in. There's going to be additional annual reporting. And ultimately, if what's coming out of the system after the water softener is considered to be a hazardous waste at some point in time, that's going to be an issue in the future. There's also some space limitations because they're talking about one option would be to have a separate disposal shed that's out there, which obviously would have to have some heat in it. But there's really no room out there. That's where the kids are playing. So ultimately, their recommendation is that they are thinking that we should abandon this and not take on the water softener in this project at this point. So
So move forward with the project without the water softener.
without the water softener, and that wasn't in the initial proposal for that system.
Correct.
So that was something that was added on.
Uh, can I answer?
Sure, go ahead, Sal.
I've got a lot of expertise when it comes to those. I've done a few on, military installations.
Yeah.
Usually the water softener exceeds the output of the well for backwashing also.
Yeah.
So you have to be very careful for that. You end
That
up
was in here as
a
well.
dry pump system.
Yeah.
So, you gotta be very careful, and all the time, it always has to go to waste. And that develops, you're talking 200, 300 gallons instantaneously.
Right.
In the waste system, so you gotta be very, very careful.
Plus, we don't have sewers.
Making the right decision.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm glad they explored it to Mr. Marinosi's point and to what their findings are.
Yeah.
I mean, it just doesn't seem applicable with what we, I mean, the well alone. We wouldn't have the capacity to even do a backwash. I know that.
The second item that was brought up and that was discussed in the initial design was to have a backup electrical supply. And they were looking at the use of batteries to do that. And there are some issues that they're still working through on that. They're looking at getting some vendors in here to kind of look to see what they can do to get the batteries installed that would allow us to provide, as you recall, when we switched over to the solar, we had to shut down the power, which shut down the water system to the town hall and the other buildings here in the common. So to avoid that, they wanted to have some sort of a backup electrical system. So they're looking to get a proposal from some vendors on that, and hopefully we'll see a little bit more maybe by the next meeting as to where that's going to stand at this point in time. It's not as easy because I think there's a big drawer on that on the batteries once the system is put down, and it may draw more energy than we have stored at that point in time too. So
Who have they reached out to as vendors? Newport Renewables? I mean, who performed the project?
they did reach out to them. They reached out to a company called Sun Energy, and I think there was a couple of others that they had spoken to. So they were looking to try to get a proposal. The problem is that they were, at that time, which was towards the end of December, they were all busy trying to get these systems installed because the tax credits were expiring at the end of December too. So I don't think they really had time to kind of sit down and look at it. So hopefully we should get a little bit more of an update when that's at the next meeting.
Yeah, generators over here.
We have one in the school. Yeah.
Is it dedicated to the whole school?
It's dedicated. Well, I don't know what
Or there's certain lines that are dedicated on the generator?
Yeah, I'm sure it covers certain items with the major items within the school.
And if you got me the amperage needs of their system, and then I could tell you the best way to go with it.
Yeah.
Because I don't think batteries are the way to go. I think another standby unit or your unit now.
Yeah, we need to have that discussion with the engineers that are working on this at this point in time. So this is a EPA grant that we're getting through the infrastructure bank. So this was something that we talked about initially in the proposal, and our thoughts were that we would have a separate electrical line maybe run out there that would be supporting the
system if we were to power down the building.
well, it would support yeah, but it would be separate in that, and it may be that they can't run a line out there at this point in time. So that must be the reason why they're looking at batteries as an alternative. So I'm going to talk to them because I haven't been involved as much as Larry has. So I'll give them a call and just find out what the issues are in terms of getting maybe a separate feed out there at some point too.
Well, even if you ran a feed aerial, wouldn't have to be URD, it could be an aerial line. If it's only one line then as long as it's got a messenger and it goes aerial, you can, it's not a big deal.
So at this point, they're about 90% complete with the design. They got permits that are undergoing approval right now. The plans, the specs, the pilot test plans are all in place. So they've been meeting with Rhode Island Department of Health to review these as well too. So the next step would be once the design is completed, they're going to put together the specs for the RFP so that we can get a contractor to come out and build the system. That's where we stand.
Softener aside, definitely keep us apprised to the redundancy on the battery. We do not want to have the system. And it's really only because it doesn't just feed this building, it feeds the entire community. So we want to make sure that that's in place. That was a strong suggestion by Michael.
Can I just follow up that?
Sure.
John, you may or may not know this, at this point, I should say. So the original grant was for 500K.
550.
550. At that point, 50,000 either way, but where are we with the design? What do they think based on the design? Do they give any kind of indication of where they think that would cost? I know we're not at the RFP thing, but I mean.
You know, I submit all the invoices, so I think we're somewhere around 150,000 so far into it. And they did indicate there was some contingency that they put in when they did the budget as well too. There was a contingency they put in so that some of these, with the exception of the water softener, but the power was enough put in there so that they could maybe assess that, so there wouldn't be any additional amounts required. Because at this point in time, I don't believe we can go back to the EPA and get any more money. But we're not in a position where we wanted to put any money into it as well. And they've indicated that wouldn't be the case at this point in time.
So we think that the balance that we have available to us would be able to cover what we need.
And when we go out for the bid and the construction, we'll get the hard numbers for that. So
Right. Yeah, I just want to know, I mean, when they're putting these designs together, I mean, they must have an idea or an indication of what they're thinking this thing's going to cost.
well, they did that when they initially did the budget for it. So they devised the budget, and that was part of the task that they had. And then that budget certainly had to get approved by the infrastructure bank, which is the finance arm of this grant at this point. So it's a flow through from DEM to EPA to the infrastructure bank.
So at the bottom of the day, at the end of the day, I should say, it's not coming out of us. We're still covered within this grant.
At this point, there's nothing there that would require us to put some money in.
Mr. McNamee, if you want to pivot right into your financial update.
Okay, so let's start with 24. Right now, I got my years confused. We're working on the 24 audit. We've got the 25 audit that we're going to go into next. We've got the 26 operations that we're working on as well. And we're starting the 27 budget. So we got 4 years going at this point in time. Hopefully by the end of January, which is what will happen, we'll have the 24 audit finalized. I've got the 5th draft, which is pretty much, it's in pretty good shape. There's a few minor items that we need to add, and we're anticipating that will be finalized by the end of January. I met with the Auditor General yesterday, and we met with the auditor as well. So, and he's always anxious to get that off his plate as well too. So we're going to be moving forward with that, and then we'll move into the 25 audit as well. more than likely, we have to go out for bid because this is the end of a 3-year cycle with our current auditors, so we're gonna go out for bid. I was working on the bid specs before this meeting, so we're gonna get those to the council next Thursday evening for approval, and we'll get that out on the street probably before the end of January. So I'm hoping that we have auditors in place by the end of February that can start with the 25 audit.
When you say go out for, so RFP for the auditors, this is a joint effort as far as the auditors, or are we doing two separate auditors for the school and I would imagine it's a joint.
It's a joint one, yeah.
It's gonna be a joint, right?
Financial statements are presented as the government, town government in total. So we are a separate component of that because we're a major fund within it, but it's they would do the audits for the town. And we have to do these uniform chart of accounts reports on the school side, so that's included in that audit as well too. So I think we'll be in good shape. So 24, the numbers that you have are pretty good. 25 numbers we've gone through. There's really no changes from the last meeting. In fact, I got an electric bill today for, I think it was February and March from National Grid. February, March of last year.
Boy, this is fun.
So they're still working off a credit. So we still got credits sitting on there.
Right.
So as they figure out their billing system, they finally get bills to us. We're still working off the credit. So I'm not anticipating that we will have any hit to the 25 numbers for additional electric costs at this point in time.
Do you recall what the credit is as of March?
Credit was somewhere around 35,000, I think. So, and I mean, they've been running, we were usually running somewhere between $7,000 and $8,000 per month. You know, so I think we got 4 additional months in there. So I'm looking at probably something pretty close to where we're at this point in time.
And those credits, do those credits go through December, or we don't know that at this point?
Those credits were
Effective as of March, or are they effective as up to the?
yeah. So those credits were brought up to date by the virtual net metering company. Yeah. So the project in Warren, whatever is generated from that, the credits will go onto our account at 100%. So they're generating those credits. They credited our account, not individual months, but all of it at once. And that happened to be in, I think it was December of this year. So we received all the credits that we were supposed to get. We're continuing to get credits in. And I'm getting bills from the virtual net metering because the agreement is that we pay 65% of the cost of the credit. So we're getting a 35% discount, and that's the way the virtual net metering works as well too. So
That credit of 35,000 approximately is up and beyond the 65% or 60% that we have to pay to Warren, or is that?
no, I booked the charges from Warren already. So those came in and I booked those as an expense. So now what we have is the generation of the electricity from Rhode Island Energy working off the credits that are sitting on that account. So we're square with what's called Next Amp, who does the billing for the green energy project. So it's been a little bit of a struggle.
Yeah, I mean, just even getting accurate billing is just a challenge in the state.
Yeah, as far as 26 goes, I mean, there's nothing that pops out at this point in time. You know, I got to deal with the energy, the Rhode Island Energy, because we're not getting current bills. So those things would start to come in as well too, but we haven't seen those yet. So I anticipate those. But I mean, we've had some unusual expenses. So we had some tile work we had to do down on the first floor. So that's included, but there's nothing that's too out of whack at this point.
Excellent. Thank you, John. Committee policy, or excuse me, committee reports, subcommittee reports, policy subcommittee. We met this evening. We discussed two policies. One was the contract policy that we had a first read of or we had a second read because we could have voted on it last time. So we had two reads of that policy. We brought it back to the policy subcommittee. We're going to be removing can I speak on this?
You can tell them the actions that they.
Yeah, so the actions that were taken, we're removing the monetary amount, and then we figured it'd be prudent for the entire committee to go line by line on the action items which allow for the administration to move forward with enacting a contract. And we'll see what the consensus is and hopefully vote as needed, remove things as necessary, and move forward with that. We hope to have that on our next meeting for February. And then the other piece was the electronic device policy, which it was our third policy subcommittee meeting discussing that. We've brought it before this committee one time. We had another robust discussion. Sean is going to bring it back to his firm to see if there was any other districts after the presentation of what they put forward in their policies, if there was anything that came back as concerns from administrators, parents, students, district-wide. To his knowledge, there wasn't at the time. If there are any amendments to be made, they'll be made in the subcommittee, and then we'll bring it before this committee for a second read in our next meeting. And that is all for the policy subcommittee. I will move to item 7.2, the Portsmouth School Committee report. Mr. Mark Leisher.
Thank you. Nothing to report from Portsmouth from the last meeting. There's a lot going on in Portsmouth, but no discussion related to.
Okay.
A lot of great stuff happening there. I mean, there are a lot of highlights, but just say that.
All right. Yep. Item 7.3, Ms. Sue Chase with the Wellness Subcommittee report.
Well, we met yesterday for our wellness meeting, and there's a lot of good stuff happening there. The Farm and Sea to School program is continuing to be active and improve. There's plans for the Oasis and the greenhouse to be cleaned out, the Oasis to be prepared, so it's a little easier for the town to mow and maintain that Oasis for us. And there's some plans for some new above ground planting boxes. And then there was a lot of excitement about the upcoming Wellness Week that'll be happening in March by both the staff and the school community. And we always give thanks to Lori over there with her Secundit PTO that supports all of these great initiatives, staff and everyone else. That's about it.
Thank you so much, Sue. And finally, the Town Recreation Committee Liaison Report, Mr. Mark Leisher.
Thank you. Recreation's busy as well. The only thing related to us is ongoing work on the playground. So we are working really hard to keep that project moving forward.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
The Town Recreation Committee is working on a plan to keep the playground operating and replacing some parts. So just moving that project forward. Looks good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Excellent. On to action items. Did Sean or Carolyn want to speak to item 8.1, the agreement of professional school psychology services? Service. Or Mark, my apologies.
I think maybe Mark can speak to the actual use. I've reviewed it from a legal perspective and recommend approval.
Okay,
Thank you, Mark.
so a need arose for us to seek outside psychological services for the purposes of evaluation for students that were recommended for potential eligibility, special ed services. The specific evals that we're concerned about are functional behavioral assessments, which have a lot of components to them. Our part-time school psychologist is also currently, actively involved in other cases that are coming on. So we really had a need with the time crunches that are put in place for us to hold meetings, have the evaluations done, and then have the follow-up eligibility meeting for, the decisions to be made about services. We just weren't going to be able to, do that with our part-time school psychologist. So that's why we were looking for outside people to contract with us on that.
Excellent. Do I have a motion to approve the agreement for professional school psychological services?
Just, you want a question after the,
I mean, this is like I imagine this falls under the IEP.
Yes.
I'm not worried about that. So I just want a clarification, if you don't mind. So basically, you're looking for additional help to supplement the current staff, if I understand that correctly?
Yes.
Okay. And then the second part is, Sean, you looked at the legal part of this. When I read this over, I understood this as this was an independent contractor. So it's a sole person that's doing this because it states that they had no employees in that contract.
I think it states that there's no employee relationship, so they're coming in as an independent contractor. There may be more than one actual human being that comes in and provides the actual service.
Okay, so the only thing that kind of screamed out to me when I read this was like, it says authority of managing member. There's no notation. When I looked at it as independent contractor, it was like, who is this person?
Mhm.
Because I don't know what that name is. That's just, when they sign this, there's no mention of a name of actually who owns the company or what's not, that makes a difference. But I mean,
Right.
it would be nice to know who are we contracting with?
Understood that with this person who signed it as the authority of the managing member, it's Wellness and Education, Rhode Island and Massachusetts Certified School Psychologists. They have a website. There's a Liz Barron at wellnessed.com. Looks like that's the corresponds with the signature. So I would assume this is Elizabeth Barron who can speak to me
Is that in the,
further to who may be the managing member. We even had that
I believe
conversation.
that she is. I haven't
Right.
met.
So she could very well be sole. I don't quite know, but again, under this contract in terms of who's performed the functional behavioral assessments that will be performed, you have the pricing per person. And again, they're not going to be in an employment relationship with the school. I don't know if that answers your question.
no, I understand that. I just like, it would have made me feel better knowing that, because it speaks to an independent contract and,
Mhm.
and I'm like, there's no name on who this independent contractor is. Because anybody can go do an LLC.
Sure.
So I
Right.
guess,
I would say that this Elizabeth Barron.
I guess I didn't see that in the.
All good. All right, I will consider a motion.
I just had
Go
a
ahead,
question.
please.
I just had a question. Would that person be in contact with our school psychologist and or social worker, or would
Yes.
Jack.
There's a team of people.
there's a team of people, so they would confer and
Eligibility, finding.
just because our people would know the students a little better. So that was one of my.
Do you know if it will be Elizabeth Barron coming in to perform the
And
FBA?
she'll be doing one and another person who works.
Somebody
underneath
who
her.
works underneath her, Mike, yeah, so.
And I can get you that name if that's important to you. I don't have that currently right in front of me, but.
Say it's important to the parent that is going to be, their child is going to be impacted. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah, and we already have consent from the.
Right, and to be clear, just in the way this process works from an IEP perspective, something like a functional behavioral analysis, which just to kind of set what that actually is when students have certain behaviors and you're trying to understand why that's happening, you might have performed a functional behavioral analysis to understand someone coming in, observing the behavior, what the antecedent to that behavior is, what's triggering that behavior. That can help inform other school officials on how to best work with that student to develop an IEP moving forward. Importantly, FBA's functional behavioral analysis is not completed without the parent consent. We can't do it under the law without parent sign off. So at that time, who's doing it, how it's going to work, those sorts of things is disclosed to the parent.
As we did with the contractors for the solar system, this contractor would have background checks and what have you before they come in.
That would be in compliance with the school committee's policies. Yep.
Correct. Any other questions? Is kind of a rubber stamp here because I don't believe we have anyone within the community that has reached out and or anyone on this committee that is interested in breaking our 10-year term with the Portsmouth High School. Our children following 8th grade, should they continue with public education. So this is basically, we're coming to the end of the 3 that I believe took place 3+ years ago. I was on that subcommittee that presented this to this body, which approved. As I shared, this is just so we sign off on it and then Portsmouth will sign off on it, that we are continuing within the contract and that there is nothing to change as was laid out. Questions for Mr. McNamee if there are any?
Yes. Not have you, has there been anything that's come up within the past 3 years that not thought of initially when this contract got put together that has cost us more that we should address before we enter another 3 years?
No, everything's been addressed. We had certainly some multi-language learners, so there was some additional tuition for that. The increase they're proposing, which is at 3%, is it's pretty reasonable when you look at the salary increases at the teacher level going forward. So, those weren't out of whack. We met with the superintendent and the business manager, Dr. Mitchell, and myself, and had that discussion. So I think it's a good, it's a good 3-year term that we do have in place. So.
Excellent.
I guess I'm slightly remiss that my Portsmouth report was so light. Is there is a lot of stuff going on.
No, don't be remiss.
I mean, they got some really good stuff.
All right. All right, I will seek a motion to renew the agreement between Little Compton School Committee and Portsmouth School Committee for high school services for a second 3-year term. So do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Item 8.3 is to discuss to approve the virtual instruction plan. We do this every year. This virtual instruction plan is not a plan for snow days. This is a plan for if there was to be a major shutdown, if you will. Maybe there's a system within the building like we
And it's a longer day. But when I say longer day, it's mimics a school day.
Okay, yeah. Any other questions?
Sure. So the virtual learning will be a full 6 hours and 10 minutes versus the 3 hours.
Yeah, even the snow days for that matter. If there were a virtual day in the event of snow, those are expected to be 6 hours and 10 minutes versus the 3 hours. Yep, half day.
I know I've commented on that before where
No, I know. entices you to do a full snow day now.
Get snow, it should be a full snow day.
I mean, there you
I
go.
mean, personally, I'd rather see the kids have a snow day than sit in front of a TV.
Agreed.
a Computer for 6 hours at home.
Excellent. Do I have a motion to approve the virtual instruction plan? Do I have a second? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Do we have any requests for information from administration or legal counsel from the committee? Keep in mind that your request does not necessarily, or won't be answered tonight. It is just something that they will respond at a later date and or through email.
I do want to clarify, Mike asked a question regarding Green Ribbon School.
Oh,
It is a one-time award, and it carries on. You know, you can consider yourself in school for as long as you want. You can renew it if something new were to take place. You can reapply, become a Green Ribbon School again.
okay. Thank you for that immediate response. Wes. Any questions, concerns, comments for legal counsel or administration? All right. With that being said, before we enter into executive session, I will share that any person to be discussed in executive session has been given the opportunity to have the discussion take place in open session. And with that said, I will consider a motion to enter into executive session under RIGL section 42-46-5A1 and 2 via roll call. Do I have a motion?
So,
Do I have a second? We will vote via roll call. Ms. Kate.
Susan Chase. Amy Glacier. Aye. Mark Glacier. Mike Rothen.
I,
Aye. Motion carries 5-0. We are into executive session. We will reconvene in open session. Yeah, so if you want to hang around, but I do this because Mr. Rogers like, hey man, you said 7 o'clock public meeting. You can't be having a 2-hour executive session. And then also, if you want to stick around, that's great. Also, we will go live again. So if you want to follow us at home,
let me know when you want me to.
we will. Where will you be? Or we'll call you.
At my home system.
Thank you, Tom.
Do you want me to log this now?
Yeah, you can log off now. Thank you all for joining. Welcome back. We are reconvening an open session. There was a notification that there are no votes taken in executive session. And I will consider a motion to seal the minutes of executive session. Do I have a second? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. We'll consider a motion to approve the contract template for the acting superintendent position, subject to final legal approvals. Do I have a second? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. And finally, I will consider a motion to approve the appointment of Caitlin Donahue as no, we're still online, offline. Great work tonight, everybody. Yeah, that's fine. I can say great work, and thank you for staying. Those of you that did, Tom, certainly for your service, but really great work tonight.
Right.